supposed to do that anyway. Just that.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so Adobe Photoshop is one in a number of applications that are included in Adobe CS Suite, right? The Create CS stands for Creative Suite. It's now CC, Creative Cloud, right? And it's the package offered by Adobe. Photoshop is geared towards image editing, meaning the editing of pixel-based data, although we do a lot of vector stuff in it. Does everybody understand the difference between, if I say vector or pixel data, what I mean by that? No?
I don't think so.
All right. Okay, so before we go further, let's just get a few things clear so we can understand each other better. Okay, so to create a new document in Photoshop, click on my file menu and I click on new. Right, and I'm faced with the new document dialog. And for most of the documents I will be working with that are not size specific, we're going to be using 8.5 by 11. Reason being,
Winnie, your sister waiting for you? Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, I'll be leaving at 5:30 today. That's okay? What time are you supposed to leave? That's cool.
okay, sorry, that was Tanya. 1 minute. We have 2 people coming, Tanya and Cedric. You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sorry, let's continue. Okay, so for our most basic settings, we're going to be using a standard page size, which is letter, right? Everybody should be familiar with what a letter paper looks like. It's your standard page. It has the width is 8.5 inches on the short side, and the height on the long side is 11 inches. So we're gonna set it here with 8.5 inches, height 11, and our orientation, we could change it from the portrait landscape, meaning the tall side going up, down, or we can switch into landscape, which is the tall side going horizontal. All right, but we're gonna keep it portrait for the time being. Resolution, does anybody know what resolution means? Can anybody tell me what resolution means? No? Okay, so resolution basically refers to how many dots of color make up an image, right? And I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. So for regular printing, we're going to use a resolution of 300. Color mode, again, we're gonna keep it at RGB. We're gonna leave it as default setting for now, even though for a lot of our other designs, we're going to be changing it into CMYK. All right, RGB stands for red, green, and blue color mode, right? And CMYK, can anybody tell me what CMYK stands for? Excuse me?
Magenta, yellow, and I'm not sure what phase.
You're not sure? What was the first one you said? Cyan, magenta, yellow, and the K stands for black. Is the last letter in black, right?
Okay.
Okay, so RGB, red, green, and blue. And whenever we design in something that we expect to keep on the screen, meaning it's for the web, it's for your desktop background, it's not intended to be printed, you want to use RGB as your color mode. If you're intending to print something on a traditional printer, you will want to use CMYK as your mode option, okay? Reason is because printers print in CMYK and monitors display colors in RGB. Everybody got that? But for now, we're gonna keep it in RGB because RGB will give us a wider range of color. And we click create. Let's give it a minute. All right, and we have our document. Everybody with me up to that point? Yes? No?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. From there, that is your basic document being created. Let me explain to you what a pixel is. Remember, we selected 300 pixels per inch as our resolution. All right. Now, when you think of resolution, you can think of a number of things. The first thing that would typically come to mind is your resolution on your computer. Everybody knows their computer has something to do with resolution, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you right click on your desktop and you were to go into your display properties, you can change the resolution of your computer to make the items on your screen appear big or small. Basically, that's what it seems to do, right? It might also change the shape, make your circles a little bit more oval, squeeze your items a little bit more one way or the other. So what that resolution is, it basically tells the monitor the number of dots of color it can use to create the image on the screen. So you will see a resolution, an average screen resolution, an old screen resolution of say 800 by 600, right? That would mean that the screen would display 800 pixels or 800 dots of color across the width of the screen and 600 dots of color going from up to down on the screen. Everybody get that? So your screen will actually be made up of little dots of color, 800 columns across and 600 rows down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does. Okay. If it doesn't make sense, what I want you guys to do is a little bit of homework, right? Do some research on what resolution is, right? And we'll talk about it some more in the next class. But as it relates to your designs, a resolution of 300 pixels per inch means that in every 1 inch, 1 square inch of the design, and let me just move this here so you can see. And today what we're gonna be working with is shapes, just so you know. So 1 inch by 1 inch. All right, everybody can see that green square on my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that green square is 1 inch wide by 1 inch tall. With my document being a resolution of 300 pixels per inch, it means that that square is made up of 300 dots of color going across, right? 300 dots of color going this way and 300 dots of color going that way, right? That is pretty much what resolution is. You don't need to cram too much details about resolution. Let me tell you what you need to know right now. If you go into print a document, you want a resolution of 300 pixels per inch, all right? However, if you go into design a document that is only going to be viewed on a screen, on your computer, on the web, you want to use a resolution of 72 pixels per inch. Does everybody get that?
Yes. Yes.
Somebody was asking a question? Okay, all right. So if you remember nothing else, know those two resolutions, 300 for print, 72 for web or screen, okay? Now, let us start with the basics. Shapes. Everybody knows what a shape is? Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
If you look on your toolbar, now your interface may look different based on your screen resolution, on your settings, and your customizations. And we're going to look at customizing Photoshop a little more in a later class. But for today, I want to get you guys jumping right in, getting creative. Okay. So if you look on your toolbar, which is on the left-hand side of your screen, typically you see the tools going down here. Closer to the bottom, you will see this tool, right? Now, if you put your mouse over any tool and you leave it for a second or two, you will notice a tooltip comes up that gives you the name of the tool, and it gives you, if you have CC 2019 and above, a little video or a little clip as to how it is that you use the tool, right? Do you guys have Photoshop open right now?
Yeah, we do.
All right, can everybody locate the shape tool? Now, you may see any one of these and it will be the same tool, right? It might be the rectangle tool, rounded rectangle tool, ellipse tool, polygon tool, line tool, or custom shape tool. Tell me if you identify any one of these on the toolbar. Yes?
Yep.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
to get the other tools, if you press and hold on any tool, it will bring up a list of tools that are hidden behind that tools button. So the very same button that you would use for the rectangle tool is the very same button that you would use for an ellipse tool, which is what you would use to make a circle. All right. So you just press and hold and select the appropriate tool. So drawing a basic shape. With the rectangle tool selected, you click and drag on the document, you create a rectangle. Now, I want everybody to find one other palette, your layers palette. For those of you that have Photoshop open, can you find your layers palette?
Yes.
Yeah. If you cannot find it, let me know. Everybody found it?
Yeah.
All right. So layers is one of the things that makes Photoshop stand out from any of the other simple image editing applications, like Paint. Most people know Paint. Paint is installed on your computer, right? And you can use it to draw or create art using different tools. However, one thing that you will not find in Paint is the ability to use layers, right? Layers give you the function of basically putting one object over another. All right. It also allows you to interact with each object individually. So with your shape tool selected, you go into draw a rectangle. All right. And with your shape tool still selected, if you look at the top, everybody see the menu at the top. Directly below that, we have a property bar or an option bar. That bar will change based on what tool you have selected. All right. It gives you the options to customize the particular tool that you're working with at any point in time. With your, when you draw a rectangle with your rectangle tool, what you will notice is a new layer appears in your layers palette, right? At first you would have just your background, but then you have your background and a rectangle layer. And that means that what you can do is independently manipulate your background and independently manipulate your rectangle. Okay, so what can we do with the rectangle at that point? Can anybody give me some suggestions? What might we want to do with the rectangle at that point?
Color.
Excuse me?
Add color. I say add color.
We want to add color, right? And in Photoshop, that is called a fill. So if you look up at the options bar, right, you see that option that says fill right here, and it has a little square next to it. If I click in that square, it shows me my swatches. And I'm going to select, again, green, right? And I've made my square green. Everybody follow with me up to that point? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Let me show you another way you can change the color of that square. So if you go into your layers palette, right, and you see the layer, it says rectangle 1, right? And you double click in the thumbnail. So if you double click right here, this comes up, color picker box, all right? And it'll allow you to select any color you can find, which is, I believe, almost the entire range of colors, primary colors, right? And change the color. Yeah, everybody see that? Yep.
Can you repeat what you just did?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've created the rectangle and we're looking at the layers palette right now. Do you have the layers palette visible?
Yes.
All right. So if you were to double click right here in the thumbnail next to the name rectangle 1, right? Just double click here. The color picker shows up. You with me up to that point? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Then it's simply a matter of selecting a color and clicking OK. Let me know if you got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
All right, great. So that is 2 ways that you know of to change the color of a shape. All right, let's try it with a different shape. Let's try making a circle. So to draw a circle, I will press and hold on my shape tool. I call it the shape tool, but at that point, it's really the rectangle tool, right? And I would select my ellipse tool, or you might hear me slip up and call it the circle tool, but it's really the ellipse tool, right? And then again, you can add an ellipse or a circle to your document in 2 ways. Now, can anybody tell me the difference between a circle and an ellipse? No? Are you gonna make me voluntarily to talk to me? All right. Can anybody tell me the difference between a rectangle and a square?
The length of the edge.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat. I just see the chat light up there. Oh, and Tanya, the detail of the image you're also talking about earlier for the resolution. All right. Okay, so yes, the length of the edge. So basically, a square, all of the edges of a square are the same size. On a rectangle, you have 2 sides that are the same size and 2 other sides that are not, but it's the same size as each other. So in other words, 2 parallel sides, right? But the sides have different sizes in a rectangle. You should know that. In an ellipse, it's the same thing. A circle is perfectly round, an ellipse is oval or egg-shaped, right? So for those of you who have issues, check out the chat. Tanya is giving the answers in there. All right, so let me walk through 2 ways that you can draw the shape again on your document. So the first way is you can click and drag. So click on your document and drag. So right now I'm creating an elongated ellipse, I suppose, right? And let's change, yeah, cool. But what if you want to get a perfect circle? The other option might suit you better. If you simply click with the tool, right? Click. Forget about the little head you see walking behind me. And let's type in, let's go 3 inches. 3 inches, right? 3 inches. Okay. Then we have a circle being created. It should be a perfect circle and it should be 3 inches wide by 3 inches tall. Everybody with me? Everybody saw we did that? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So that's 2 ways you have to add a shape. One of these shapes, rectangle, round the rectangle, ellipse, or polygon to your document. All right. What about the others? Let's look at the custom shape tool. So we're going to first for the 2 basic tools, the rectangle and the circle. All right. The custom shape tool now allows us to select from a wide range of shapes. Right, that we can even expand. So we can actually add more shapes to this list, right? Or we can create shapes and add to that, right? So it allows us to select any of the custom shapes and add it to our document. And for emphasis, let me just change the color. Right? Everybody with me so far? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So that's how you add shapes to a document. I have your first homework assignment for you. Yeah, everybody ready for it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna continue in a minute and we're gonna show you how you would create custom shapes. All right. But what I want you to do for me at home is I want you to create a scene. Right? And I'm going to be using my pen tool right now because I'm sort of creating well custom shapes, which I'll be running through if you know what. I want you to create a scene. As a matter of fact, let me not even use custom shapes at the moment. Everybody understands what I mean by scene? Create a scene. Okay, create a scene. Don't worry, you'll get it. Using only shapes for me. So you can use custom shapes. You can create your own shapes. You can use circles, squares, rectangles, right? But pretty much create a scene for me. And after I explain it, you will let me know if you still don't know what a scene is, right? Using only shapes. What I'm doing right now is demonstrating or giving you an idea of what I'm looking for, sort of what I'm looking for from you, right?
So you mean that's the homework?
That is the homework, yes, essentially. We get into it. Everybody getting a handle of what I'm doing so far?
Yeah.
Let me know when you figure it out, if you don't quite get it yet.
Yes, like a beach or
A scene can be anything. It could be your room, it could be a day at the beach or beach. Let me see if I can do some beaches thing. Sure. But you get the idea.
Mm.
Right? So for homework, I want you to create a scene for me using only shapes. Yeah.
Okay.
All All right, so I just want to see what you guys creativity can come up with. Right now, really, I'm just throwing chips together, but you get the idea. Any size document you want to use is fine. This is an 8.5 by 11 document. And as you can see, I just threw that together in 2 minutes, but try and be creative with it. We're gonna put a few other things together with the shapes today to get you to make it look a little better. We're gonna add some gradients, and we're also gonna add some custom shapes, right? However, my Zoom, although that's something that I thought was supposed to be resolved, is going to cut off in like 6 minutes. So once that happens, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and we're gonna come back for another 40-minute session. All right, everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another 5 minutes to go. So pretty much what I've done in terms of this particular scene is what I've shown you so far. I have one circle or ellipse, right, or oval, right, in green at the bottom. I have one rectangle here that gives the illusion of the sea. And I have another rectangle here that you can see, which resembles the sky. Maybe it's a little bit too wide. Then I have custom shapes, something that's supposed to resemble the sun, some clouds. I can continue throwing custom shapes in, for instance. Let's see what we have here. Plane is way too big, but you know, a plane in the sky would give it a just make it look like a little shadow. But yeah, you can continue adding elements pretty much, right? Now, where it would get interesting is, before I do that, let me even show you. We could using just the rectangle tool, get really creative and draw a stick man. Yeah, everybody knows what a stick man is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just juggling your minds for the moment, trying to get you guys thinking, because that's the first thing that I'll be asking you guys for in the next class is about my scene. Yeah.
All right.
Excuse me?
Not a problem.
All right, cool. So edit, transform, flip horizontal. Yeah, we can pretty much do the same thing for the arms. See you tomorrow. All right. Okay, so we get the idea, right? If I did want to be lazy, rather than drawing the stick man, I'm fairly certain if we go into the custom shapes, let's just throw in the stick lady next to it. All right, and then she's somewhere. Cool, everybody get the idea?
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
So that is your homework for me. We have just about 2 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end it right now. We're gonna take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna send you a new link in the group chat, and we'll come right back in and continue. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you can practice what I've been working on, what we've been working on in the meantime.
Okay.
See you guys in 5 minutes. It's now 12 past 5. We'll be back by 5:17.
Yeah.
All right. See you soon.